So now, today, I'd like to introduce to you the keynote speaker, Gabrielle Gun. Gabby, why don't you step up and just step forward here. How many of you were at the October 2019 Clay SafetyNet Alliance meeting? Wasn't that a great day? We had the project facilitator from Lake County doing the keynote and describing how Lake County takes on projects to supply missing services in Lake County. And in the November meeting, we asked you what services are missing. And so many of you stepped forward and said, we'd like to have double the amount of foster homes. We need a transition center for inmates that are released. And even though there are so many people here in the room, each doing a little bit of what it takes to meet the needs of Clay County, there are still many, many missing services, right? So Gabrielle Gun is the equivalent of Lori Humphrey in Lake County. And we are now ready as a county, and she will explain everything to you, to take on these projects. So I'd like you to give her a big round of applause, Gabrielle Gun.
Good morning. I'm sorry I have my back to you guys, but it'll be up on the screen. I am with Impact Clay, and we are inspiring collaboration that drives positive change. I'm putting my contact information up here just in case a few of you have to leave early. I am the project facilitator. We are working on a website, and it will be launched in the next couple of weeks. So to get us started, I'm going to give a little background on why we are here today. The first trip to Lake County was in 2012. I'll have this slide and the next slide. There are just a few pictures of the many different groups that have gone to Lake County to see their model, who have seen Lori Humphrey in action and have seen their executive roundtable and their steering committee in action. There have been many individuals here from the Clay SafetyNet who have been in attendance to that. For those of you who were not at the October and November meeting, Lori gave her introduction on the Lake County model and a few projects that they have done that have positively affected their community. This model has been in place for over 15 years, so she has a great track record and has completed many projects. One of the projects that she talked about was the foster care program, and they had a huge event and had foster parents for many children that were in need. The community came together as a whole, volunteers, churches, nonprofit organizations, government people came together to meet this dire need in their community. The other project that really captivated me was their rock program that they introduced into their local high school. They have a classroom within the school that children can go anonymously to throughout the day. They can get clothing, food, prayer if it's asked. It's not pushed upon. This program is run by volunteers, pastors, people in the community, people that work at the school. And this need was so great that they are wanting to introduce it into more high schools. So Lori Humphrey showed us back in 2012 that we needed to bring this to Clay County. So that's where the concept came from. There were many individuals here in Clay County that saw the need and have started to bring Impact Clay together. Now, in our November meeting, we asked the same questions again that Lori Humphrey had asked us in the October meeting. And based off of all of your input, which we greatly appreciate, and it was a wonderful meeting, you can see by the percentage of the people that voted, the one with know, 100% know, with school personnel and direct service workers feel they are supported with adequate funding and policies. I mean, everybody was swayed that way. The rest of the questions. In our community, families feel that they can adequately communicate with decision makers, and 100% of you said no. So we value your input and your voting and the want that you guys want to help here in Clay County. We also sent out a SurveyMonkey questionnaire this week. The first question was, from your perspective, what are the most significant behavior risk factors with Clay County today? And the top 5 answers were mental health, substance abuse, poverty, foster care, and affordable housing. And then we asked you, how effective are the current Clay County programs in addressing those behavior risk factors? 21% of you said effective. 53% of you said not effective. And 26% of you said unsure. So over 50% of you said it's not effective. So that means we have to do something. So then we asked you, what types of projects would you suggest suggest Impact Clay adopt and implement to combat those behavior risk factors? And there were many, many projects that you guys said, and these were the top 5 that were repeat answers. The first one was programs to educate children and families on substance abuse. Second was more mental health services. Mobile access to see all resources available in the county, which is similar to what Lori Humphrey proposed in the October meeting. It was also affordable housing and more foster parents. So that brings us to our first topic. Our community has complex issues. 37% of Clay residents fall in the low income to poverty level income levels. Who should be responsible to find solutions to the countywide problems? You can see there's many countywide problems on here: disaster relief, affordable housing, unemployment, domestic abuse, education, and so on. The list goes on and on. The answer is, it takes all of us to solve the issues faced by our community. And with Impact Clay, we have found the 4 sectors. The private sector is the business, nonprofit sector, social services, faith-based sector, churches, and the public sector, government. And so our goal is to bring all 4 sectors together to meet countywide problems. Number 2, impactful solutions have been implemented formally. So as of right now, Impact Clay has been able to bring county stakeholders together. We've assessed community needs. We have an abundance of quantified data, and all the work to date has been done with volunteers. Now, several examples of successful projects that are impacting Clay are Mercy Support Services. They were birthed from housing, no housing for displaced families in need, and individuals in need. The families and individuals in need cannot locate resources, so Clay SafetyNet was formed. We had the disaster emergency crews that can't go into private property, so the mobilization of volunteers were put in place. Recovering Clay was formed after Hurricane Irma wreaked havoc in Clay County. And then finally, we have the community partnership with Moose Haven. It's a pilot program to help unaccompanied youth in Clay County. So these are the projects that have made us want to start Impact Clay. Now we need to formalize. So together we need to find solutions to countywide problems. And we can't find solutions unless we have your help as a county, as a community. The projects will come from you, and they will be a success because of you, because of your resources, because of your volunteer. They will come from churches, county agencies, healthcare providers, high schools, businesses, media, and nonprofits. The problems are based from the increase, the crime reduction initiatives, the reduce domestic abuse. That's what our goal is, to meet those needs and to take on those projects as a whole. Now, a formal and clear direction exists. I know you all can read this, but I'm going to read it out loud. Impact Clay is working on becoming a 501c3 nonprofit. It accomplishes its mission by searching for crucial projects that emerge from the Clay SafetyNet Alliance, key stakeholders, and/or the community at large. Impact Clay is led by a board of directors who have hired and oversee a project facilitator. The project facilitator collects project applications, passes them on to the Project Advisory Council for screening, and the projects are then presented to the quarterly executive roundtable meeting that gives their input and support for projects. Our mission is, again, inspiring collaboration that drives positive change. Our vision is enhanced quality of life from having safety nets in place for all families in all situations. So, our structure. What is our structure? We are led by, Impact Clay is led by a board of directors who oversee me as a facilitator. I, as a facilitator, will be the facilitator for not only the board of directors, but also the executive roundtable and the project advisory council. I will facilitate the chairperson with their meetings and getting information out to each member on the board and also launching Impact Clay. I will also be in attendance to the Clay SafetyNet Alliance meetings and will be giving a 5-minute summary of where we're at on a monthly basis to accept projects from you as a whole. We ultimately want it to start here from Clay SafetyNet Alliance. We want you as members to be vested in the Clay SafetyNet Alliance so your projects can be brought forth to ultimately the executive roundtable. We will also take project applications from the community, from the Project Advisory Council and the Executive Roundtable. The Project Advisory Council will meet on a monthly basis, and the Executive Roundtable will meet on a quarterly basis. The Project Advisory Council will consist of nonprofits and churches. The Executive Roundtable will include people from all 4 sectors, which would include people from law enforcement, health, nonprofits, schools, sheriff's department. The Project Advisory Council chairperson will sit on the board of the Executive Roundtable. So what does the process look like? So I will receive the project application. There will be questions on there asking for data, a champion for the project, why you think that we should take your project on as a whole, because not all projects will be taken on at first. There are many needs, and so the pilot applications that we're taking on right now are going to be taken under consideration. After I accept the project application, I will then take it to the Project Advisory Council, who meets on a monthly basis, and we will prepare and get all of the data that is needed, all the questions answered, make sure that there's not a duplicate resource already here in the county that the champion might just not know about. We will use the resources that all of the people on the Project Advisory Council have in order to make it a rubber stamp, so when the project is presented to the Executive Roundtable, all they have to say is, we approve and we're going to stand behind it 100%. We're going to give our resources. We are going to give the volunteer work that we need. We're going to back you 100%. So as I've said, I will engage all stakeholders by supporting the application process and information gathering from the community and the Clay SafetyNet Alliance. I will assist the vetting and recommendation process of the Project Advisory Council and ensure supported projects are well prepared for review and approval by the Executive Roundtable. And once projects are approved, I will oversee the project management and communication associated with implementation and metrics. You see 501c3. We don't want you to think that we are competing with you all. We're not competing with you for funds. We have private donors that have given money to the startup funding. So we want to make that very clear that we are not competing with you in any way as nonprofit organizations. Implementation is well underway. As of right now, we have the project facilitator. Startup funding is provided, the implementation project plan, and we currently have the program manual. Much has happened in the last few months since we first gave you guys all the idea in October. We have finalized the structure of the Executive Roundtable and the Project Advisory Council. We have the manual. We've communicated the high level to the Clay SafetyNet Alliance. And now we're in January. We have our champion meeting later on this month. What do our champions do? Well, our champions will be a peer on peer and go to the members of the Executive Roundtable and the Project Advisory Council and get them on board with our idea and to show them how much we need this in our county. We also are working on a decision criteria for projects, and in February we will be starting the recruitment of the Executive Roundtable and the Project Advisory Council members. We will be accepting pilot applications not only in January but also in February. We will also be accepting them in March. These pilot applications will be from our team, from champions, and early adopters. In May, we plan to have our first Executive Roundtable and Project Advisory Council meeting. At this meeting, there will be a joint meeting for each table to meet each other and know who's on what and what we want them to know, which is formation and visioning. That's where we are going to get everyone on board and excited for what we have in store. And in August, we will be having our first Executive Roundtable meeting. It's our first quarterly meeting where we will start our first projects. Now, we invite you to engage. You can suggest a champion. I've told you what a champion will do, but ultimately, the board of directors will be the ones voting on those members. We have recommending a team member, Executive Roundtable member, or a Project Advisory Council member. Again, what is the Executive Roundtable? It is comprised of the 4 sectors: private, nonprofit, public, and faith-based, and provides a mechanism for dialogue and community problem solving, ensuring successful collaborative efforts. What does the Project Advisory Council do? It is comprised of program administrators and others with the expertise in planning, funding, and providing services for children and families. The council stimulates change at the policy and direct service level by sharing information, identifying issues, data gathering and analysis, recommending solutions, and implementing projects. And we want you guys to share with others that we are not competing with your funds. We want to make that very clear. Now, for my conclusion, the need is well documented and understood. Clear direction exists. Formal launch is structured. Implementation is well underway. We're not competing. And this is our invitation to you. So, tell me what you've heard today. What are you going to take back to your group, back to your work group? What are you going to tell them about Impact Clay?
You don't compete.
I don't think they can hear you what you're saying.
You don't compete.
We're not competing. We want to make that very clear. After giving the presentation to the steering committee, the steering committee felt that we should make that very clear to you guys that we're not competing. Yes.
Competing, but there's some SafetyNet, the SafetyNet, are we getting too many organizations working in this direction? Do we need to reduce the number of organizations and combine more of the efforts?
So as of right now, Clay SafetyNet Alliance, they only have the need portion. So that's back and forth with throughout the room, and that's where somebody will say a need and somebody else in the room will meet that need. Our goal is to take on larger projects as a whole to meet the needs for the county, not just individual needs that need to be met this week. As of right now, Clay SafetyNet Alliance does not have that. So Impact Clay will be over Clay SafetyNet Alliance to meet the needs that Clay SafetyNet Alliance can't meet.
So it sounds like there's about 5 major issues that Impact Clay is going to address and coordinate efforts between government, nonprofit, private sector, and faith groups.
Yes.
So that's what I'll bring back to my
Yes,
presentation.
thank you. Yes. Yes.
I'll also get that your organization is somewhat malleable in the fact that you're not just meeting what you think needs to happen,
Right.
that you're taking everybody as a whole and you're coordinating and putting together all the people that are very good at a particular need that you
Correct.
are being presented with and making that more powerful and strategic in the solving.
100%. You were listening. You got it. Yes.
The other question, please. I'm from out of state. I moved down here a number of years ago. I've been on the board director for the Clay Humane Animal Clinic for 20 years now. One thing that I saw when I moved here from up north was that Clay County was a low-income county.
Yes.
Because we don't have any major businesses here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a couple like Publix, which are fantastic, but a lot of our employees are like Walmart, which is low income, no benefits. So that's what generates and creates a lot of homeless and people in need.
Right.
Is the Clay Impact going to do anything to try to encourage better big businesses to come to this area to offer employment?
Audrey.
Okay, so we're so excited to have Wendell with us, the president of the Clay Chamber of Commerce. We're going to partner with all sectors in the county, and that would be a project that we could put out and put out to all the sectors to take on. So the projects will not just be for
I think one of the major factors here that I see that benefits the prioritization process.
Yes.
That's tremendous, the ability to find those big hitters, go after them first.
Yes, agreed. Any other questions?
Could you put your
It's on the
information
next
back
one.
on there?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I was like, I couldn't write it fast enough.
Would you like to add anything?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'd like to just thank everybody that has been part of this. This has been a 7-year project. It's almost like community work needs to be counted in doggy years, right? It takes a long time to turn the Titanic. And I can just see the people in the room are here because you realize that we need glue, we need coordination, we need collaboration. And we have great buy-in from our elected officials. We have county commissioners that understand our county and are willing to be champions for us. We've even had conversations with the senators and the state representative's office. They've all realized that there's missing pieces in coordinating services and to communicate with the county at large. So this is an exciting day for us. Please, many of you are probably going to be on the project advisory. Many of you will be helping us get the executive roundtable together. Those are still 2 missing pieces. But it's through the collaboration of the Clay SafetyNet Alliance. This group has been the fuel and the engine that has driven this this initiative in the county. Obviously also with Humphrey from Lake County's coaching and mentoring for us to do this. So I want to thank you all. We're going to obviously follow up at every single meeting with what the progress is. Gabby will be that communication piece. But from now on, the effort is going to be to get the Project Advisory Council together. And that will be 7 churches, 7 non-profits, and 7 members at large that will actually vet the projects, almost like a Shark Tank. But that group would also be an engine to provide resources and help the projects to, have fuel and to move forward with momentum. So those are going to be carefully selected people that are well-resourced in the county, have got good history with the county, and can help to blow air into those sails so that we can move forward.
Let me say something too. Andre mentioned this has been a 7-year project. We've had our core group together for 7 years, and it's been a lot of work, but this wouldn't happen without Andre. Andre's been the driving force, consistency for 7 years. He's kept us focused, he's kept us targeted, and I think the community owes Andre a tremendous debt of gratitude and thank you.
As a side note, Andre is also the president of our board of directors. So we value him very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you all for your time.